Hey, I'm Taryn, the Remote Yogi, and today we're going to be doing some bedtime yoga, just a really quick practice to get us settled in and calm down for bed. So I'm doing it directly from bed today to make it really easy and convenient, so when I get sleepy I can just roll over and fall asleep. You might want to also have a couple extra pillows for this. If you've got 2 pillows on the bed, that's perfect. So if you're not in bed doing this practice, you might want to grab a couple just so we can get really comfortable in these poses. We're doing a couple of more restorative poses, but in a quick fashion to help the body really calm down so we can rest easily tonight. So join me wherever you're at. One of the things I like to do before bed is to get some gentle twists in. It's just really nice for the spine to get some relief. I work at a computer all day long, as I'm sure a lot of you do as well. And so to do some spinal stretching before I fall asleep helps me to sleep more comfortably and make sure that I'm not like kinking my neck or my back while I'm sleeping. So just starting with a couple of gentle twists, you just need maybe 1 pillow for this one. So I'm just gonna grab 1 pillow and set it long ways with the short end up next to my hip. And I'll take both legs and toss them around to one side. So I've got the knees bent, the feet are back, and I'm just resting here on my left thigh while my 2 feet are over to the right side. And from here, just twisting gently. So just rotating over to the left side. And you might need more than 1 pillow depending on what feels right. And I'm just gonna find my way down onto the belly. Again, this is a really gentle twist, so doing what feels good. You can keep your head looking over to the right, which is going to be easier on the neck. Or if you're looking for a deeper twist, you might turn your head and look over to the left if that feels good. So for me, I really like these deep twists, but my spine is really flexible, so doing what feels best for you here. And we're just gonna sink in and enjoy these twists, taking a few long, deep breaths. And we're wanting to make sure the breath is long and controlled here. Oftentimes we can use the breath to fully release, to change up the nervous system, to prepare us for relaxation. Especially when you can heavily sigh out the exhales, really dropping in, releasing through the breath. So maybe try that here, a couple really heavy sighs, release. And we'll begin to come back up to center, take things to the other side, but really take your time here as we move up. So there's no rush here. And just taking the pillow to the other side, swinging the legs around, sitting up nice and tall here. And again, just making sure that we elongate the back before we twist over. So I'm trying to sit tall through my seat, start to lean over to the left or to the right side this time. And I'll begin to fold down onto my chest. Now again, for a gentler twist, you can look over to the left. This is gonna be a lot easier. If you wanna take it deeper, turn and look your head back over to the left side. And also just noticing here that we're slowing down. For some of you, this might be the first time you've slowed down all day long. And
while we're focusing on the breath and focusing on the poses, it's still very natural for our brains to perk up, to notice that we've slowed down and decide that now is the perfect time to go crazy with to-do lists and planning and worry. Just know that this is natural to have this response, so therefore don't judge it. But maybe picturing all of those thoughts like clouds that come into the mind. And we can use these heavy exhales here to actively blow the clouds away. So when you notice that they're there, use a heavy exhale and imagine blowing those clouds of thoughts away, sinking further into the pose and releasing. And slowly beginning to rise back up to the top here. And just kind of take a moment to just gently release that. Maybe roll the head a little side to side. Awesome. And again, just continuing to flex out the spine, and then we'll take a gentle hip opener. So coming all the way up onto hands and knees. And noticing that on the bed, because it's really squishy, sometimes when we have our hands spread wide on the bed, it can be unstable on the wrists. And so if you already have wrist issues here, it might feel better to just make gentle fists into the mat. That gives your wrists, or into the bed, that gives your wrists some more stability here instead of doing the spread fingers, because usually you get like an extra flexion on the wrist as it kind of flexes further than 90 degrees if the bed's really squishy. So use the fist if that feels better. We'll just take a few gentle cat-cows here. So inhaling, lifting through the tailbone, all the way up to the chest and the head. And then as we exhale here, rounding the tailbone under, belly button draws in, head rolls down. And keep it flowing, moving first through the tailbone and last through the head. Last one here. Awesome. And just taking a really gentle inversion here. So again, if we're sitting in seats all day, usually we've got all the weight down at the bottom of our spine. So when we do inversions, which is any time we're flipping that direction, so we've got all the pressure coming into the top of the spine as either our head is below our waist in some capacity. So of course you might think of headstands, shoulder stands, those kind of things, but we can do much more gentler inversions that are still creating very similar effects. So we're gonna do that right now. Down dog even is a form of inversion as we gently kind of bring that down. Again, it's bedtime, so we're doing a gentler version as we walk our hands forward to a nice puppy pose. So hands come forward, we bring the forehead down to the mat or the bed, and that tailbone really arches here. So we're just naturally allowing the chest to fall where it feels good, and the back is getting that stretch in the opposite direction. So now all the pressure should be coming to the top of the spine rather than the bottom of the spine. This just feels really nice before bed to really release in the opposite direction. Taking a deep breath in and out, really sighing out these exhales here. Feels really nice. Awesome. Slowly walking the hands back up. That should have felt good. Maybe just gentle twist it out here. We've just got 2 more poses before we close up. So sitting back onto the heels, let's first bring the big toes together, the knees nice and wide, and we'll sit back. Depending on the flexibility of your hips, if you already practice yoga a lot and you know your extended child's pose, if it doesn't feel really comfortable and you're not sinking very far into your hips yet, and you can't get your chest to the ground, it might be better to grab 1 or 2 pillows here, and we just slide the pillow up between the thighs and give ourselves a cushion to land on. This is also just like a gentler version of the pose here as we release down onto the pillow. And you can let your head gaze in one direction and then switch it in a few breaths to the other direction. We'll just hold this here for maybe 5 or 6 long, deep breaths. And of course, if it's better for your practice and you want to remove the pillow here and come all the way down, that works as well. We just want to sink in, very gentle on the hips, but it's a nice and yummy pose before we go to bed. Take 3 more long, heavy breaths. Really sigh out those exhales. Start to get the body ready for complete relaxation here. Good. Slowly walking the hands back towards the body. And of course, if you have more than a few minutes to spare before bed, you can do any of these poses for as long as you'd like. This is just my variation today to get you guys a quick one. But yeah, you can hold these poses for as long as you'd like. This last pose, I'm going to give you 2 different options. It's a legs up the wall position, which again is doing a very similar thing for our spine. It's allowing the pressure of the legs to dig into the low back, so the low back's pressed into the floor, and it's just a relieving position versus, again, when we're sitting all day and that pressure is directed down this way, when we can put some pressure this way onto the back, it just really feels nice and it lets it sink in and have some support of the bed or the floor or wherever you're doing it. But an option if you don't want to throw your legs up the wall is to also maybe use pillows. So I'll show you that one here. You can get a similar effect by doing it with some pillows. So just grabbing a couple pillows, you might want more than 2, and you can just bring your hips up to the pillows and place the lower legs up on the pillows. And it's even better if you can get the legs a lot higher. So if I had more pillows, I could get them really stacked. To again, scoop the pelvis under just slightly and put pressure on that low back so the low back's fully supported here. So you can use the pillows as an option. I'm going to throw my legs up the wall and just hold this for as long as feels good. Awesome. So from here, I'm going to get my hips as close to the wall as I can and just kind of, or the headboard here. And from here, I've got my hip really close. I'm just going to slowly lower down onto my back as I twist up my legs. So that way I'm pretty close already and I don't have to do as much shuffling around, but do it feels good. Knowing if you've got really flexible hamstrings, you can keep your legs straight here. But if you don't, you can bend the knees a little bit. Again, we're just trying to put some of the pressure on our low back, bring the momentum down this way. And it just feels really nice. So I encourage you to hold this last pose for as long as you'd like, whether you're doing it on the wall or with the pillows. Sometimes I'll even read a chapter of my book from this position before bed just to really stimulate the relaxation, setting down the rest of my day, and resetting that nervous system so we can say, okay, I've got my breath under control. I'm ready to calm down. We're no longer in this fight or flight doing mode. We can relax now. And it's just this really nice transition before we go to bed. So again, stay here for as long as you would like.
I hope that was helpful to you. If you're looking for more yoga, head over to my blog, theremoteyogi.blog. I've got tons of PDFs for a variety of different sequences, whether you're looking to tone your abs or stretch the hips, lots of different options. I've got plenty happening on YouTube as well if you'd like to go there. Or if you're looking to dive a little deeper into your practice, make sure you check out my monthly membership, the Remote Yogi Tribe. There you'll find tons of yoga videos. We put out a new one every week, but also meditation, some coaching workshops, and a community of people who are really actively trying to raise each other up, and it's a really great space. So if you've got any questions on any of that, please comment below. If you've got questions about any of the poses, let me know. If not, we will see you next week. Thank you so much.